Bailey Bateman became a detective because he was always curious what fresh murder smelled like. Discovering the scent of iron and shit wouldn't be his first case. Intrigue instead selected a mysterious yellow fluid that was leaking into the library. It's piss. Guess that'd be part of the whole fresh murder odor too. Ankle deep in pee, someone was busting off caps in the meeting room for the literate. Investigation over. Cap guns aren't illegal, and the wooden floor dying of dehydration was there to slurp up the invasive urine. In medbay, Bateman saw something that should be a crime. A doctor dragging an invisible patient who's puking their perceived guts out. Floating clothes, truly a sight to behold, until a lackluster moth appeared to ruin the illusion. The detective hoped that'd be his big mystery to take up the rest of the shift. Sadly, he existed to be security's forensic bitch. Surprised the security guards don't demand the detective scan every toilet seat they place their punk asses on. This one in particular had something suspicious thrown at him, and thinks finding fingerprints will magically solve the problem. Only motherfucker with a real solution was the captain, gifting Detective Bateman with a larger revolver than the one he was issued. He test fired the bad boy on a couple of slimes, the gray type that are devoid of any emotion, making them the most ruthless killers. These majestic pieces of gelatin absorb bullets. To beat them, the warden had to teach Bailey the ways of the fire extinguisher. Slinging foam wouldn't be his future. Remember that this man is simply a forensic whore, taking on any dirty request to stare at substances. On break, he appreciated the bartender's conveyor bar, feeling relaxed until he realized the station's #1 threat. It's piss, again. If left unchecked, this could turn into a flood worse than the South Park water park travesty. In the commotion, Bailey saw a scientist bug almost neck deep in bladder juice. He tried to help the damsel in a mess, only to be shut out. Let the stank flood begin. There wasn't a cup, pool, nor yard that could contain this leak. Of all places, the bar had the least amount of piss on the floor. Bailey felt safe in this dry zone, free of pee in his eyes in exchange for his face to be graffitied by one of the bar's regulars. That would give the little man holding a gun an excuse to be a tough guy. However, the coward didn't pull the trigger. He waited to do so in the streets outside the establishment. The unarmed nerd attempted to toss a beaker of acid at the detective, yet missed. The tipping point may have been the taste of spray paint, but that asshole was harassing the kitchen. Those bullets were Bailey's way of spitting in the customer's food. That wounded jerk tried to vanish. Bateman, using his detective skills, found him bleeding out in maintenance nearby. Tapped him once more prior to tossing the cuffs on. Handed the criminal off to a doctor. Nearly dying sufficed as punishment for being annoying. Whiz was it. Alright, no more bad piss puns. This has become deadly serious. At least it wasn't the worst bodily fluid to drown in. Yeah, it's gross, though if the flood stays around knee height, the crew could still carry on with their duties. Command disagreed. The emergency shuttle was called, and the piss followed. Now, that probably wasn't a fetish event. This is Monkey Station, a fun, innocent place, so hopefully everybody was laughing and, not coming uncontrollably. Whoa, sorry. That comment was a little offhand, like a glove on a nub. Detective Bailey Bateman wants no part in keyboard orgies. He was still sniffing for fresh murder. Last round, he did come close to creating the stench himself. At the security department's orientation meeting, Bateman was launched through the air, hitting his own boss like a mobster that uses their whole body as a gun. Who was responsible? Admins? Ghost? We'll never know. The head of security called this meeting to tell all the officers to wear body cameras, since he enjoyed watching police brutality but was too lazy to do it himself. As the detective, it's required to beg the warden for a taser. Usually an easy interaction and not a struggle to avoid getting tased. Homicide hunting commenced with our detective bumping into a dinosaur. When he turned around, a clown was revealed along with its intentions. The cackle was here to tackle. Bailey thankfully had the taser, otherwise he would have pulled his revolver. Playing along, the detective stomped on the clown. A mouse jumped in and got flattened. The rodent was a pet to this poor short-legged fella. Already burnt out on violent crime, Bateman gambled, lost, and leapt from a second floor. While away from work, his office developed a lean habit, declaring him cool enough to get slapped with the Live Leak logo overhead. Immediately, it provoked a sketchy-looking couple to attack. Bailey got knocked down by a crossbow. He returned fire with a taser, a single fire since the battery died after one shot. Taking a few steps back, the revolver was drawn and let off. Another fall later, the hallway bandits were kind enough to allow a more revolver blast. They even gave Bailey a chance to reload before his incapacitation was finalized by the Playboy model with titties small as page numbers. Doctor stabilized Bateman's condition and removed the iron rods embedded in him. Walking back into the security department, Bailey saw that purple-haired assassin being hauled off, presumably dead. Finally, a whiff of death. Well, plenty of murder was happening down the hall in a gunfight. The aggressor was that same prick with the crossbow. Surmising these are traitors moonlighting as revolutionaries, their coup was foiled by better firepower. What could they have done? The detective is apparently Zeus. After getting his nose full of homicide, Bailey now wanted to stuff it with narcotics. Allegedly, the botanists were manufacturing cocaine. The detective arrived at Botany to execute an only Knox warrant. Those druggies never did open up. Samples of evidence was passed over the counter to the corrupt lawman. Acting as a human drug test, Bateman put the coke all up in his gums and nostrils to see if it was real. Of course, the goody cop has never done cocaine, so how is he supposed to know the effects? He's always heard that it makes people move faster and discuss business ideas. That swayed his behavior like a kid pretending to be drunk. Addicted, Bailey needed more and was willing to pay top dollar. He promised to give the warden a taste too. Promise unfulfilled. The detective twisted the warden's arm to let him have his line. Bateman was doing the warden a favor. He didn't want to see him go down this fun path. Returning to the dealer, this junkie lied about the security department wanting a brick. Really, it was all for him, but he was too embarrassed to admit it. Similar to the old ordering an extra large pizza for yourself and shouting, "Pizza's here," to convince the delivery driver you're not an obese pig. Bateman rushed to his office to break the brick down and snorted off his desk like his hero, Scarface Montana. Stash already depleted. Bailey made another withdrawal from the ATM. On his way to the supplier, he collapsed, overdosing right before he got to dose again.